Hello, Otafest listeners, and welcome to the newest episode of the Otafest podcast. Today, I've got myself, we've got...
Alfred, as usual.
Yeah.
And Sarah.
Mm-hmm. Yay, Sarah.
And Stephanie.
Yay, Stephanie.
Yay.
Also known as the president.
Yay.
Of what?
Everything.
Oh, okay.
Everything that is my entire, life since I was, 18. No, wait, you only became president, 3 years ago. 2 years ago?
2 years. 2 years.
2 years ago. Yeah.
4 more years.
We don't do 4-year terms, though.
2 more years.
2 more years. That's how we look at Otafest. There's no long-term plan. It's only 2 years increments. We've got an interesting little episode today. We're going to do a little guest spotlight for kimchi and kind of a little bit of drag fashion and everything like that.
We're going to talk about drag.
Yeah, and maybe a fun little nostalgia trip as well, because we're on our 20th anniversary.
Woo!
Is that what we're doing? We're just reminiscing?
Yeah, man. I love
half the
reminiscing,
episode?
actually.
Okay, all right.
It doesn't have to be half the episode. It'll
The
probably
good
be
old
3/4.
days.
We could probably do half the episode.
It's
We
true.
could probably do a whole episode, let's be honest, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
There's 40 years of
40 years.
Not
No.
40.
We're 20 years
Otafest
old, but we
is
have
so
40 years
old.
We are
worth of
not
memory.
20 years old. I want to think that I'm 20 years old. We are no longer.
50.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, we'd like to thank the Casting Call Club and the Camera Store for sponsoring us and this episode. We'll tell you a little bit about those guys later on. And for now, we'll throw it over to Alfred for some Otafest news.
Okay, so the Otafest 2018 schedule is live, which means you can visit otafest.com/schedule and start customizing your convention weekend with your best friends now for free. We use Sketch. We have been using Sketch for the last 4 years
or so.
now. It's a great app. Really, really awesome. Very user-friendly. So go and do that. Start building your weekend now. So make sure you don't miss any of our anticipated events. Log in at otafest.com/schedule today. You can also now RSVP your Otafest Maid and Butler Cafe. So for those who aren't familiar with the system, the cafe runs via a 1-hour closed session in blocks so that you can enjoy the entire experience in an intimate setting. Bookings are all inclusive, so that includes your drinks, your desserts, and your dance performance put on by the maids and butlers, the table games, and your souvenir goodie bag. They're all covered by a single booking. And a portion of the profit goes directly to the Alex Youth Health Center, which is our charity of choice for this year.
Yay.
For just $25, book your table at otafest.com/reserve to guarantee your spot. Speaking of which, we also have another reserve system in place for one of our guests, Matt Mercer. We anticipate his autographs are going to be very, very intense.
He might be kind of popular.
He's kind of popular.
Kinda, yeah, maybe. So
Mark Mercer or Mike.
Matthew Mark. Okay, anyways.
Also, shout out to
Marky
the Maid.
Mark.
Shout out to Maid Cafe.
Yeah.
20th anniversary exclusive special treats you'll get in your goodie bag.
Yeah,
So
This is true.
that's true as well.
Get on that.
Oh,
Yeah.
also, well, slightly aside, sorry, but we're also going to be giving away cake this year, aren't we?
There may be secret cake.
There is real cake. It's already announced. It's on the thing.
Didn't we have cake that one year when
We had cake on the 10th
2 years in a
anniversary,
row.
which the Maid Cafe served. This year, I don't think the Maid Cafe
There
will be
was cake
serving
on
it.
our 18th too.
there was cake? Yeah, it was during the opening ceremonies, wasn't it?
Dude, we should just have cake all the time.
No,
What?
pie. Pie is better. We should have
Yeah,
pie.
we should have Otafest pie.
Have you
I would
ever
love
tried
that.
to serve pie en masse?
I don't care.
I don't care.
I mean,
Someone gets
Give
screwed and
me
has
pie.
no filling.
Oh
Someone
yeah,
always gets
someone just gets
screwed.
flaky.
yeah, because it's a cake. Somebody just gets icing.
And
Yeah, but that's not a
problem
bad
because
I don't know. I like.
All right.
I mean, pie crust is really tasty too.
Yeah, I like flaky
I don't
crust.
mind the
Anyways,
no filling thing.
yeah. So
Wow.
can I do my
Those are
can I do
some
my news
strong
read? Okay, so let's book at
Dividing up the pie fandom. That's a good joke. That's like my top pun of the day.
So book your Maid Cafe. Book your Matt Mercer autograph if you are so inclined. Go to otafest.com/reserve. And sorry, I don't know what the URL for the Matt one is. It's
you'll find it.
otafest.com.
Yeah,
Just
just
go.
go to
Just go.
Yes.
Special
So this upcoming weekend, Calgary Expo, come and drop by our booth in Community Corner at Hall D. We'll have fun games and activities as well as a special booth only promo and sneak peeks at Otafest 2018 stuff.
Yes.
As a reminder, you can also purchase your ticket in cash. No processing fees are required. We will see you there. Go buy your tickets.
Rumor has it you'll get a good price on your ticket at the expo as well.
Oh, geez.
I mean, you could say that you always get a good price for your Otafest admission.
Well,
Yeah.
This
You
is
remember
true.
you remember all the times you made me shame everyone who didn't pre-order their ticket on this ad read?
Yes.
Yes. So no.
You have no say. I write these.
Come by the expo, get it cheap. Okay, if you can't make it to Calgary Expo, never fear. You can still pre-purchase your Otafest admission for single or weekend passes online at otafest.com/tickets for a not so great price. So come to Expo,
Oh
please.
my gosh.
It's always a great price.
It's always a great
It's always
price.
a great price. I'm sorry. Anyways, let's move on to the episode.
Yes. So we do want to do a little, like I said, guest spotlight for Kimchi, who is, I think, one of the more, like, probably most unique guests that we've had in our history.
One of the more unique guests because, well, first of all, we have never had a drag queen.
that we
She's
know
not a
of. That was
cosplay guest. She's not a voice actor guest.
Exactly. She's
Yeah.
not maybe your typical anime
Con guest, yeah.
right? But I mean, she, like, okay, do we have to explain who she is?
Sure.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Sure.
So obviously, drag queen. She describes herself as a 7 foot tall live action anime character and high fashion model
Is she 7 feet tall?
in heels.
In heels. I see. Okay.
In drag.
Okay, in drag. Okay.
When not in drag, probably, what, 6'2"?
That's still pretty
Very
damn tall.
tall.
Very
Or
tall.
Asian.
Yeah.
Also, we tried to get Yao Ming, but we couldn't, so we got Kimchi.
Oh man.
I'm just kidding.
Jesus Christ, Yao Ming.
We were just trying to get,
Yao Ming in heels.
just trying to get the tallest Asian people possible.
a tall Asian con.
So she was born in the U.S., raised in South Korea, based in Chicago currently. Her
Yeah.
real name is Sangyong Shin, and she's 30 years old. And her drag career started in November of 2012. So there's a reason we got Stephanie and Sarah on the show, because they've like kind of binge watched RuPaul, and Steph goes to drag shows quite a bit as
Yay.
well. So both of these ladies are very well versed in drag culture. I
Tip
would
your
say.
queens.
Tip your queens, yes. I committed the biggest faux pas because there was one Funimation party at a SakuraCon. I think was it last year's?
Like 2 years ago.
2 years ago. There was a Funimation party at SakuraCon, and it was at a gay bar and there was a drag show. But none of the people in attendance knew the actual etiquette, so the queens never got tipped that night.
Oh my
And
god.
I
But I
walked
mean, that's kind
In
of like
Seattle?
in Seattle, yeah.
There are some
Very
sweet
prominent.
queens from Seattle,
yeah.
so
No, they
I
were
like that.
good.
hopefully
but-
they weren't there.
yeah, no, but I walked, I didn't know the etiquette, but later on I felt terrible, so.
For sure. Like,
But I mean, you
that's
can
something-
like at Twisted, they start their shows with like, "Hey, like, did you know that you need to tip your queens?" And like they tell you and like emphasize it.
Yeah.
Like,
they need to
there's-
tell the straight girls on their bachelorette parties to get with the program, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's weird though because that was a weird party because you walked in and like we didn't come in through the front and for like the Funimation party we of us being Otafest staff, we actually got like semi-exclusive stuff with Funimation. I think so.
Sort of, but
Sorta?
not really.
I don't know. We went in through the side door.
We had like a side door. And
Yeah,
got,
we went
like,
to the
a
side
drink
door.
ticket.
They always make Otafest come in through side doors, seat us in the back.
Yeah.
We just are the hidden,
Well, no,
hidden people.
it was
You
weird
deserve to sit
though.
In the back, though.
It was the strangest thing because I walked in and it's like it's a nightclub, right? And I because we went through the side door, I didn't realize it was a gay bar, and all that, right? But
It's just another alleyway to another venue.
yeah, but then
I actually
then you walk in and there's
didn't
like
know it was a
anime.
gay bar. I thought they just invited a drag queen.
Yeah,
That's
so.
cool.
I mean,
that's like Dickens.
Yeah, like that would be fine.
Yeah,
Like,
that
maybe
makes sense. That
like,
makes sense.
are you sure it was a gay bar?
I don't know. It was
Let's just, for the sake of this conversation, let's call it a gay bar.
yeah, it was an interesting experience because you walk in and it's like it's a Funimation party, so there's like anime decorations everywhere. All the drinks are anime themed,
Yeah.
and it's just like, this is it's a nightclub.
I have some scary memories of Funimation parties in Seattle. I can't revisit them
Oh,
for my
okay, I'm
emotional
sorry.
health.
In that case,
No,
let's-
this was the party that I had to go to for that particular year because apparently the previous year Stephanie had gone and I needed to make amends.
wow.
That was rough. I didn't have any shoes when I got back to my hotel, so I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Jesus.
Well, anyways,
Our president. So, anyways,
so Kimchi in particular, runner-up in season 8 of RuPaul's Drag Race, and
Yeah.
was the first Korean American on the show, as well as the first Korean American drag queen on national television.
Yeah.
That's
I think it's pretty. Like, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, drag culture. Okay, so I have never gone to a drag show. I've watched RuPaul I like it. I think it's actually really cool. Although I probably like the way that I'm not into cosplay. I'm not really super into like drag. Not saying that they're the exact same things, but there's a correlation there for me. But I do really love the performances. Like Lip Sync for Your Life is such a cool thing. I wish we had like essentially an equivalent for our shows. We have like cosplay skit, but that's not exactly the same thing. Like
We should do
that'd
that.
be so cool.
Well, there's
wouldn't
like lip sync
Make
battle.
cosplayers lip sync.
No, make Otafest staff lip sync anytime we have a disagreement.
Can we?
As president, my next motion.
we're never. Wow.
Well, it's kind of like
I
Jimmy
can't
Fallon's
dance like
show.
that though, you guys.
Right, there was Jimmy Fallon's show where he has celebrities lip sync stuff, right? So that was kind
That is true.
of sort of similar. Anyways, so can I actually say this on air?
I don't know.
Okay,
you can edit it if you want.
No,
to.
I'm not going to say it on air. But
I just thought.
But it concerns.
I found that and I thought it was hilarious.
Concerned Kimchi's original drag name, and this is according to Trixie Mattel, who's another drag queen on the show. but-
Spoiler alert. All Star Season 3 winner, Trixie Mattel. Yes,
How's
Team
that a spoiler?
Trixie.
They're on like team. They're on, like,
That just
year, like,
aired,
3000.
Jay.
Did it?
Get with the program.
Did it just air? Did you know that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Also,
alright.
season 3 like just ended.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, sorry, I didn't know.
Anyway.
Okay, I'm always upstairs when we were watching.
We boys are ignorant.
Yeah,
Sluts.
Okay, we should probably explain RuPaul's Drag Race for listeners that don't know what it is.
yeah, that's kind of
So it's a reality TV competition show for drag queens, hosted by RuPaul, who is a famous drag queen. You might have heard of her.
Holy crap!
they-
Some of the makeups that she does is amazing.
the makeups.
I don't
I
think
don't know what to call
RuPaul
it.
does her own makeup anymore. It's
yeah,
it's,
I
it's,
highly
it's,
doubt
it's a
that.
queen from a different season now, Raven, who does Rue's makeup on
Is
the
it
show.
really?
But like it's crazy.
That's
Like,
sweet.
Yeah, but it's I think that was the big contributor to drag becoming a lot more mainstream now, rather than just relegated to shows in bars, like
I agree.
locally.
Kinda
and
like
stuff.
Yeah,
underground
100%.
culture or-
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
mean, like, I didn't know who Trixie Mattel and I didn't even know who RuPaul was, right? And then now, like, all of a sudden, because of this show, and I didn't even know it was on season 8. That's
It's on
ridiculous.
season 10.
10, sorry, yeah,
See, you're behind.
ignorant.
Food.
I'm very straight. I'm sorry.
So straight.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's really interesting, and it's gotten to the point where it's becoming really
Like, there's a RuPaul's Drag Con as well.
yeah, it's
In
Where's
two
that?
in 2 cities,
Is
New
there
York
really?
and LA.
Cool.
wow.
It's just the weekend before Otafest, so
Is it just called drag?
Bye.
it's called RuPaul's Drag Con.
Oh, okay, all right. But there's other drag cons out there that
Is there?
aren't RuPaul's, right?
Don't think so.
What's okay?
Maybe.
Why? What is the significance of RuPaul in that culture?
She's just like very good at making a name for herself and very, very good at marketing. And she's been around a very, very long time. And she's
Yeah.
really, really talented.
RuPaul became kind of a legendary trailblazer for drag because of a song that was released by RuPaul that became kind of mainstream. And you can look up old episodes of Oprah and other kind of like
Oh.
daytime talk shows where Ru was frequently a guest back in like the 70s, 80s.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
And like
yeah.
the B-52s for their music video for Love Shack also is Ru credits them as giving her a big break by casting her in that music video.
Oh no
So-
way, that's RuPaul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you can.
That's what I mean when I say
That's
the
like
Oh
her-
damn.
It's pretty legendary.
Original thing to
RuPaul is kind of the mother of mainstream drag, I would say, and of course
Yeah.
there's some controversy and like flip sides to that
Sure,
coin.
sure.
But
Yeah.
But in terms of getting drag culture out into the mainstream,
main
Yeah,
awareness.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
You have to credit her for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
Okay,
cool.
so we've been using obviously feminine pronouns and such, right? So that's the etiquette, right? When you're talking about drag
Yeah.
queens, is just
Yeah.
feminine pronouns.
yeah, I would say I think
Yeah.
that there's all kinds of different. Drag is for everyone, honestly, and
Right.
so
yeah.
you can kind of discuss that with people as what their preferences are, but the general standard I would say is when someone's in drag they have feminine pronouns. When they're out of drag, typically male pronouns if that's how they identify. Most
Right.
of them, most I would say drag queens, though not all. There's women who also perform in drag as sort of elevated women, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
Super.
trans women who also can identify as drag queens,
Sure.
and it's a different part of their identity. So it's really cool and a really open and inclusive culture, which is sort of the changing face of drag.
Right,
But
and-
yeah, typically I would say feminine pronouns for
Yeah.
that.
So that's interesting because like because you went like my personal image of drag for a while was it was men
Cross-dressing.
Well, not cross-dressing, but also making a statement by against masculinity.
Yeah.
By adopting female personas, but it's it's an exaggerated female persona. But
Totally.
then because it's such an exaggerated female persona, right, and such an exaggeration of femininity and these very typical feminine, features, right, like that. I'm starting to see that it's like the average woman could be a drag queen too, right? That's the interesting thing.
Well, we were talking
it.
about Trixie Mattel, but Trixie made a really good point in an interview, and Trixie was saying like, if you try to tell me that Dolly Parton isn't a drag queen or that Cher isn't a drag queen,
Yeah.
you are lying.
Yeah.
So I think there's something to be said about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think in general though, you said like cross-dresser, for example. I think that's kind of like an interesting outdated almost term to
agreed.
use.
Yeah.
I think
the thing is like you can set them apart because like like in the sense that like I feel like to me I could like my interpretation
like cross play.
Kind of, but like in the sense that like okay, so in prior years, like at Otafest during our closing ceremonies, we've had like some of the guys throw on like Sailor Scout uniforms or like maid dresses and stuff like that. And to me, that's purely just like cross-dressing. It's putting a guy in female clothes and being like,
Oh, I see. Okay,
like,
so
hey,
you're saying there's an art to drag.
yes,
right?
like art to me, the art of drag resides in like the social culture as well as
The
like,
makeup.
the makeup is like again, like it's not
yeah.
just the looks.
I
It's
think I get what you're
it's
saying.
So, it's
Yeah.
very much a social construct.
Well,
like,
it's a
constructed
performance,
thing, right?
Like when you were
Performance,
wearing a Sailor Scout outfit, you were still Jay in a Sailor Scout
Except I didn't.
outfit
Yeah.
versus someone who
But
maybe
thanks.
is adopting a drag persona.
Yeah.
That's more of a performance,
Right.
more of
Sure.
a
Right.
art. So yeah, no, maybe I can see that for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, I think that's the thing that I appreciate the most about it. Like, like it's my knowledge of it. I can say that I'm not extremely well versed, but I can say like it's the thing that I appreciate about like when I watch like RuPaul or anything like that. It's just like that is the thing that like really I take away from it the most, and it's really cool.
yeah.
I want to kind of go back to because we haven't really talked so much about kimchi,
Right.
But like, what do you like? I know so she was the runner-up on season 8, but what do you think really set her apart? I guess.
Her fashion, her makeup style, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, she's different. Usually when you see a queen doing, like, the huge eyes that she does, it's, like, for, like, kind of more comedy purposes, but she made that beautiful and fashionable and stylish.
Yeah, I think Kimchi brought a level of artistry to the show that had not really been there before.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, in terms of craftsmanship and that kind of thing. Like anyone who's watched season 8 will know that Kimchi's not really like a comedy queen. She's like about
not-
the look and the creation of that aesthetic and that kind of thing.
Right.
Though if you ever watched Mug or any of Kim's like offshoot YouTube stuff, you'll see that Kim is freaking funny. So there's also that side. But in
So-
terms of looks,
Mug, that's her YouTube show, or
Yeah, so Mug stands for Makeup Girls, and it's Kim Chi and Naomi Smalls, who's another queen from season 8. They teach us about makeup or critique makeup or those type of things. So we're hoping at one of Kim's panels at Otafest that we'll get a little bit of that Makeup Girls-esque thing. I won't give too much of it away, but it should be a fun one. If you're a fan of Mug, you'll like Kim's panels at Otafest for sure.
I wonder if like, I mean, I'm not saying like guys don't wear makeup now, but I wonder when it's gonna be like how long it's gonna be before guys commonly wear makeup.
I don't
Well, I
know.
think it should be it should be now.
Should be
Makeup
now.
is awesome.
Guys are ugly now. They
If
fix
you
that now.
want, seriously though, like if you
not
want to
about-
look fresh faced, like why does it
sure.
only have to be a female thing? If you're insecure about your acne, for example, like it should be for anyone. I think anyone should be able to wear makeup.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Or
That
not.
is one thing.
I don't
I'm
wear
like-
it,
You know,
really, but you
I mean-
should if you want to.
we're seemingly in this sort of like huge turmoil and uproar about like this huge gender identity war, culture war type thing, you know. So I mean, like, yeah, I think it's high time, right? And now is as good a time as
I
any,
just love to
right?
think that like drag queens are the ones leading the men into.
That's actually
into-
what I
into
was
makeup
about.
battle.
That's actually kind of what I was kind of like hinting at. You know, it's like the fact that drag is not so mainstream, right? And we're also having conversations about like inclusion within the drag community, which is, and in the drag community, to begin with wasn't very mainstream, right? So now it's like we're talking about inclusion with that. So I don't know. It's an interesting time we live in right now.
Yeah, it's cool. There's a queen from Drag Race called Sasha Velour who was the winner of season 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sasha Velour is awesome, and she was here in Calgary. But there's a famous line that Sasha always uses, which is like, "Gender is a construct, tear it apart," which is pretty fun, and I think that that's true. So the main thing for me about drag and why I think bringing a drag queen to Otafest as a guest is kind of a cool thing is like we're kind of saying, screw these cultural like social norms and embrace that and play with gender or play with your own identity. And like cosplay, for example, is like people want to play with their identity. So many people will do that, and it's a really cool thing.
Well, I mean, like you can even point to like let's say a contest that we've actually held for years, which is Mr. and Miss Otafest, and some people may just take a look at the name and be like, well, this is very like
gendered,
binary and stuff like that. But all it really comes down to is like, is your character maybe like slightly on the more masculine side or maybe on the more feminine
well,
side?
you can run in whatever area you want.
We don't care what area you run
like,
in.
Whatever.
It's kind of just naming like, hey, like we like these two cosplayers on a self-promoting level.
So it's kind of interesting,
fun.
because there is it's gendered, but at the same time we don't restrict you, right?
It's literally a title, so we can give you a title.
Yeah,
and there's even been insider Otafest tip. That's why you listen to the podcast. But we've had some chats about, do we want to change it to just like Otafest royalty or like whatever?
Yeah.
Like we're talking about that because we recognize in our community, especially that
we could call it king and queen.
Identity and expression.
That's still gendered.
It's not. Not on the same way that you think. Not on the same way that you think. Like
we'll just call it best and almost the best.
The two people that you wanted to vote for.
Yeah.
No, well, the idea was that it was supposed to be prom king and prom queen. But anyways,
yeah, like prom.
So sorry, we'd like to take a quick break just for our first ad read here. We'd like to thank Casting Call Club for sponsoring this episode and for sponsoring Otafest. They're really cool, so let's tell you a little bit more about them right now.
Want to learn what it takes to be a voice actor? Casting Call Club is the fastest growing voiceover website for online creators in the world. We have tens of thousands of new roles every month, and it's free to use for as long as you want. Most projects are community driven, which makes the Casting Call Club the perfect place to learn, play, and work. Visit castingcall.club/Otafest for more information.
Perfect. Thank you, Casting Call Club.
That
What's up?
That was almost not long enough, but that's okay. If you're wondering why I'm laughing, it's just because like I have to edit in the ad later, and whenever we do a recording, whenever we're about to do an ad read, there's always an awkward silence for us in the studio. Yeah. And I say studio when
it's a fun silence. It's not
we just
awkward.
stare at each other.
Yeah, look at each other like we're in the office. This time I heard a bird.
Bending.
So who was the one whose idea was it to bring kimchi?
Steph's? Like 90% sure it was Steph.
I won't take full credit for that.
Well,
I think
you kind of spearheaded it, though.
I've been forcing my friends to start watching RuPaul's Drag Race.
I won't take credit for it, but I may have
steered some people into this direction.
Steph asked like maybe a year or two ago, and I was like, what does kimchi have anything to do with like Otafest and anime and stuff? And then I watched season 8 and I was like, Steph, do you still want to bring that?
No. Steph would have been like, no.
Yeah,
well, no,
I think.
No, Sarah kind of makes a few decisions behind the scenes, right? Because like you are part of the S team.
Yeah, I would say like Sarah.
Input.
If Sarah didn't support the decision, it wouldn't have happened. So like, there's that for sure.
Yeah.
Now everyone's looking at me.
How did you first get into kind of like involved with like drag culture stuff, like watching or going to shows, anything like that?
Yeah. So for me, like I'm a member of the LGBTQ community, so I've always tried to support that art. So be it, queer films, talent, musicians, that kind of thing. I've always tried to support that by showing up with my dollar and elevating that community because it's so important to me. So for me, like that was a big thing, is just getting exposed to various areas within the community.
Right.
And it's almost impossible to be someone who supports like queer art and entertainment and not be exposed to drag queens and drag culture.
Yeah.
So that's kind of I guess where that started. I mean, as a little baby otaku, I was super into J-Rock and Visual Kei. And
yeah,
so
Visual Kei
anyone
is,
who knows that, it's super like gender play. So I've always kind of been a supporter of that and think it's fun. And then once RuPaul became like mainstream, like many people, I was like, what is this show? So
Visual Kei. That was a
thing.
That was some of my like
still is a thing.
Formative moments like in my life.
Honestly, like people in school had their Blink 182 posters in their locker, and I had like Duran Gray posters and X Japan posters.
I had it like all over my notebooks and stuff.
I just remember seeing Gacked. I'm like, that's a man? What?
Apparently,
most confused.
Okay, apparently Gacked is like going to be in a movie soon, and he's playing like an 18-year-old. I'm like, you're like 60 years old now.
Yeah, it's kind of insane.
I know, but I mean,
but he thinks he's a vampire. He says that out loud to people.
I mean,
no, it's a marketing thing though. But like, I don't know.
He could be like Keanu Reeves or like our Vicky.
Vicky and Gacked are related. You heard it here
and also
first.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, yeah. No, Keanu's kind of aged. I don't know. Like, I went back and watched The Matrix lately, or like I've seen him
Bill
in The
and
Matrix
Ted.
He
lately, or
hasn't
Bill and
aged.
Ted.
He just grew his hair out.
Yeah. Okay, I
There's
guess
a
so.
difference.
Yeah.
It's just like you,
so it makes him
Alfred.
look older.
He grew a beard. Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah.
Sorry, what about me?
Long hair, old.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. People tell me I don't look very old, but I feel old. I'm not like, I mean,
Let's not.
It's because
go
you're an
there.
Otafest staff
No,
person.
That's
let's
actually
not
kind
ages
of
go
you.
there. Let's not go into feeling old because it'll devolve.
Right.
But we can talk about kind of like our history.
wait. Like, can I just make like one last comment about the drag culture stuff though?
One last.
Okay, so it's like I think it's really interesting as well that drag is on the mainstream, but now I hear a whole ton of people talking about their local communities for drag,
Yay.
right, and going to support them and stuff. So like, it's this huge international movement now, right, with RuPaul's Drag Race, and it's not without its controversies, and all that, right?
As with every culture.
Right? And as with, every culture with a spokesperson, like, so to speak, right? But I mean, like, it's really cool that we're having these sort of discussions, but it's also, again, really cool that people are going to support their local communities, right? So, so I don't know, like, Steph, if someone wants to get into Calgary's drag scene, where do they go?
I'm going to plug like my favorite drag group that's local. There's quite a few that you could check out. I mean, Twisted has drag shows every weekend and Drag King shows as well, which is really fun.
Drag Kings. Yeah, that's.
I haven't looked into that yet, but
So there's lots of cool stuff that you could probably plug into, but I would recommend checking out for sort of like a good entry-level drag show that is accessible. Dickens Pub actually shows episodes of Drag Race on Thursdays. They screen it like as a pub would screen a hockey game or something.
Yeah.
They show Drag Race. So people pack it, and then a local group called Glock, Glamorous Women of Calgary. I always either say it's glamorous or gorgeous, and I F it up every time. I think it's glamorous.
I like glamorous.
Glamorous.
Anyway,
I love glamorous.
Glock does a drag show and hosts the show every Thursday there. So I would say go check them out. They're kind of these three queens that I think are awesome. Perla Coddington, Nancy Grease, and Grease Jones, and they're the House of Grease, the three of them together.
Whoa.
That's a great one. And that one's cool. It's kind of in during the week, and it's not too late at night. So if anyone's anyone's trying to dip their toe in, dip their toe in, I would say check out Glock on Thursdays at Dickens. And the RuPaul's Drag Race airs at 6. And just plug them in. It airs at 6, so it's pretty early, and then the girls do a show immediately following. So make sure you bring some fivers. Don't bring any coins. Can I also just say quick?
Oh my god, who would
Don't
do
tip
that?
your queens with coins. That's
so
just
awful.
awful.
I fucking hate that about Alberta.
What if there's
Honestly,
rolls of
I
coins?
fucking
What
hate
if it's
that
like
about
a roll
Alberta.
of
Watch your
Goonies?
mouth.
No,
What if
you
it's a
can
roll
swear
of
on the show.
$10?
You can?
You can swear on the show.
Yeah.
I was trying to be all good. I was saying freaking and effing this whole time.
No, okay, well,
This is why you're the
Alright.
president's staff.
I don't
You
know.
have to understand that I am one of the co-creators of the show.
I drop F-bombs when I'm really angry, and that's like
I drop
I'm-
F-bombs for fun.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, at the end of the day, support your local communities and whatever it is that you like. Support queer communities if you're into it. Go see, gay films. Go have fun in whatever community because we need your support in the arts.
And your money speaks volumes.
Please
Especially in
support with
Calgary.
your dollar.
Especially
we
in
do
Calgary.
need that for
like,
sure.
Tip your queens.
We need to like overturn this idea of Calgary as this like conservative hellhole. It's
Yeah.
not. It's really metropolitan. It's very contemporary.
Yeah, we have lots of culture here. The only
Yeah.
thing is that our municipal funding for the arts is the lowest in Canada. Plug. So support with your
Yeah,
dollars.
exactly.
And your votes. Anyway,
Just not toonies and loonies.
I'm not political.
Yeah. No, me neither. Yeah, no. It's
Oh
like.
God! Oh no! Run away!
Okay, next topic.
Okay, no.
guys.
Well, the last time we. It's just a real quick aside about
No!
Dickens. Real.
No! Last time.
No,
No last time.
No. It's a real quick aside about Dickens because it's a really cool local pub.
Okay. I'll give you that.
There's no other bar in Calgary that does the stuff that Dickens does.
True.
Right? It's like there's
Simpsons trivia.
Simpsons trivia night. We haven't gone in a while.
I know,
Damn.
'cause we
Okay.
sucked.
Yeah. No, World Cup was so bad.
I'm in danger.
Anyway, support local
Yeah.
pubs too.
Yeah.
Go to your local restaurants and pubs. They need ya.
Exactly.
Sure.
Sarah, favorite drag queen?
Me? Oh my god. Don't put me on the spot.
Oh my god.
You haven't
Steph,
talked.
what's yours? Oh, I like Katya. Because I
Katya.
really like Trixie and Katya's
Trixie
show.
Mattel and Katya. Okay, all right. So that's on YouTube too, because I know
Yeah.
you binged that. That was the answer I was trying to bait out of you the whole time, but you were just so quiet the whole
Hey, we were
time.
talking about kimchi.
Yeah, we were, but we were also talking about drag in general, and I got stuff to plug local stuff.
If you ever want to watch like the funniest thing on all of YouTube, just search Trixie Mattel and Katya on YouTube. Their show is called as in UNHHH.
That's not something you can search.
No.
I think it's
Anyway.
UNHHH.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
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 Like
They just
sexual
talk about
growth kind of
nothing
thing.
and have a green screen, and it's the most amazing thing I've seen in my life.
whose laugh is it that I hear from upstairs?
Both of them.
Oh,
Probably
No, actually,
Trixie
probably-
Mattel.
Trixie's. I
Trixie
think it was
doesn't
Trixie's.
laugh. She just screams.
Yeah.
That's her laugh.
Yeah.
Is there
So it's
anyone
probably
goes,
that.
Out of pure curiosity, is there anyone that goes, ooh, 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 ooh,
Oh, like the anime
Like an
thing?
old lady queen?
Like the anime
Tasha
thing.
Davis?
Hassles.
Oh,
like
Does she?
the-
maybe not.
No, I don't know, but it's like I knew Sarah had finished binging that series when the screams stopped because the TV was on full blast and all I could hear was Trixie
Yeah, it
Mattel
sounds like murder.
screaming
Okay,
from
like
upstairs.
listeners, just start watching RuPaul's Drag Race because it's like an entire
Drag Race.
different culture. Like you learn all these queens'
Yeah,
names
exactly.
and like who they are and what they're about, and it's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
And if you need a fandom that has endless content of which you'll get sucked into YouTube holes for hours and
Yeah.
hours, the drag race scene, there's beyond content. You will never run out of content to watch.
Awesome.
Anyway, come see Kimchi.
Yeah.
I wish I knew that
Yay.
before I started guidebook this year. I ran out of stuff halfway. I was like,
Just start putting
I'm
in
in
pictures
a
of
dry
drag
desert
queens.
of content.
Try.
Yeah, man.
Hey, the guidebook's good, no? Like we've seen it as staff, so
not done
it
yet.
looks very good. Though,
it's really
so far.
pretty. I love
Yeah.
the colors.
Yeah. Anyway. Actually, so I want to get into nostalgia stuff because
It's our 20th anniversary.
it's 20th anniversary. It's,
Yeah.
I think it's always fun to hear staff stories, and some staff stories we can't tell.
No.
This is the absolute truth. Not because they're like the worst ever, but some of them have to be our inside secrets. And if you ever become a staff or volunteer, maybe you'll have the opportunity to learn.
Out
that.
of respect for our fellow team,
Yeah.
we will not share some of those
Yeah.
stories, but
Yeah.
some of them
So-
are for your ear.
Some of them are fine. Yeah, I mean,
Most of them are fine, actually.
most of them are, and well, well, okay, well,
Okay, well,
Before we go there, so
Sarah, help us.
I think in terms of let's say seniority. I think you. Oh, that's the jacket. Oh well.
yeah,
Steph is
Steph has been with
By-
Otafest
well,
longest
Not probably by far.
by far.
Because when did
Of
you
the
start?
people in this room, that is.
Because you were actually at DOA.
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
wasn't just most of your adult life; it was most of your teenage life too.
It's like most of my
Yeah.
entire life.
Yeah,
I wish-
life period.
Okay,
yeah.
So I wish Jenny could make it because technically, can we tell the kidnap story right off the bat?
What?
Because you went to him.
When I got kidnapped,
Yeah, technically kidnapped.
we
Can we
could
tell
start. Sure.
I mean,
Can we talk about that?
I mean,
That's one like you.
It implicates my friends more than
yeah,
myself.
well, I guess so. But Jay was
are
just
one
like,
of the
"There's some we can't tell. There's some stories
Okay,
that."
but like
This is
now
not
that
one
we've
of those
mentioned it, she
where it
has
was
to
that
tell
bad.
it.
Yeah, that's
okay,
true.
here's the
All right.
problem. If we don't tell it now, it only sounds worse.
Okay, all right. Steph, what happened?
Oh, God.
How'd you get kidnapped?
Okay, so I can't recall the year. I think it was maybe 2004. Maybe. This
Oh,
is
man.
a guess.
Yeah.
But I was pretty young otaku, and some of our fellow team are older than I. Jenny's not here, so I don't know. I don't have to be so mindful.
They were
of that.
over 18 and they had their own cars.
Yes, people had cars. I did not have cars.
You don't have to name people.
I couldn't drive a car. Anyway, Animathon, our sister con, who, just a quick plug for them, is celebrating their 25th anniversary this year. So
yes.
awesome. Shout out to them. But anyways, we wanted to go up to Edmonton and visit our friends there at Animathon. And my new friends,
Want to come along?
my new university-aged friends, of which I was in like junior high or something, said they would drive me. So I had to somehow convince my mom to let me go with these old people.
These strangers.
Who she's never met, up to Edmonton. And so the only way I could do that was to phone my mother every 2 hours. And I didn't have my own phone either, because I was too young, I guess.
It's 2004, right? Like, I maybe had a flip
I don't
phone.
know if I had like a brick
That was
Nokia phone.
that
or
was when
something.
razors were the big thing.
Yeah,
Like,
it was.
That was. I think
wait, no, that was high
Pre-razors.
school. That was high school.
Right
That was high
before
school.
razors.
Yeah, right.
This was
Anyways,
when you
yeah.
had to use your keypad to like put in a text. Like I
T9. That was T9.
No,
Yeah.
not
love it.
texting. Well, yes, but I actually used the keypad to make a meaty text ringtone of "Running in the '90s." I found.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
I found on the internet some website that was like keystrokes
never
to
knew
make
that
"Running in
existed.
the '90s." It was like beep 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 beep. Anyway, so that was my phone. Anyway, I digress. So. Our dear marketing lead, Gareth Lipka, at the time, let me use his phone to call my mom every 2 hours from Edmonton. And I've been kidnapped and have never been allowed to leave Otafest since then. Please call the police.
No, but like
Okay.
Call the police.
The
Help.
reason why it's kidnapping is like taking her out of like city limits or something, essentially. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
I mean, I didn't have a guardian, and technically
Yeah.
not really her permission. Like, she was very reluctant to let me go
Oh.
up with these anime nerds
Wait, so your
who showed
mom-
up to pick me up with, like, lightsabers and...
Oh god, was that the
cosplays.
lightsaber year too?
It may have been
No,
the
I think
lightsaber
I
year.
thought-
Oh,
year after.
wait, 04 was the lightsaber. No, it makes sense because Revenge of the Sith came out that year.
Whenever
It was like
I don't
2005.
know.
Yeah.
It all,
Of course, he
it all
knows the
bleeds
year
together.
Revenge of the Sith
Can I
came
follow
out.
up?
on top of
2005,
his
yeah,
head.
yeah.
Can I follow up on that? Like, it's not really so much a story, but so much like part of the experience because I joined Otafest when I was 17. You know, so like last year of high school kind of idea, and you know, like I had, it's yes, I was a nerd, but it's not like I didn't have any friends. So yeah, I had gone to like sleepovers or whatever and stuff. But you have like, but it's the first time where you have like friends where like. It was the first time where I really had a friend group that was like significantly older by like
Right.
5
Yeah.
years or so
Yeah,
at least,
yeah.
right? So they're again like these guys are in their mid 20s and again like you know they're more prone to like traveling and stuff, right? And we used to kind of do a lot of like hangouts post meetings. We can't really do that so much
There's
because
just
there's
so many of us. Like, no one's house fits us anymore.
Yeah, it used
Yeah.
to be that we had like 20 people and be like, sure,
Yeah.
but we can hang out after a meeting, but now we can't.
No, we
God.
have like 80 people.
God, our Christmas party. Jeez. It's like we had like first time we actually had to rent out a hall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It used to be in a 1-bedroom apartment, then
Yeah.
at a house, now a house
I
with a
remember
yard,
all of these, yeah.
now a real hall because there's just so many of us.
Yeah.
Our
Insane.
next one's actually gonna be in the TCC.
Oh god, don't even say
That'd be
that.
great.
Please don't.
But
We
anyways.
can't afford it.
No.
Well, we can pitch in. But basically, like, you know, I started going out more and staying out more, and like, I'd always get rides home and stuff like that. But this is me still being like a high school student, and my mom was like, "Who are these guys?" And like, I actually got into an argument a couple of times with my mom. Like, Mom, I'm just volunteering.
Well, 'cause your
I'm
mom
not
is
doing
like-
drugs. I'm not drinking.
Because your
And-
mom is fully like, why are these like 30-year-old
people.
people hanging out with a 17-year-old person?
I
I'm
have
like,
the
I
exact
swear
same
to God.
story. Like, this happened to me too, but it wasn't with staff. I was like just hanging out with people that I met on the
I
Otafest
was like,
forum. And
I
I was like
swear to God.
14 when I started this.
Yeah, I had to tell them like, I swear to God, they're like good people.
They're nice.
I went up to Edmonton to meet people like that were like 18 that
The-
I knew from online, and my parents were like, I guess we'll drive you there.
And that's
Yeah.
the thing about like
Like-
nerd culture, right? Is like an otaku culture in general.
Sarah,
It's-
can I just say
Yeah.
say one thing though? It's like I pray to God your dad doesn't remember the first time he met me.
Tell the story.
because it was
Tell
not
the
Yeah,
it
you're
was
gonna say it?
not
Tell the story.
it was not you know like the first time I came over for dinner. It was not the first
Were you
time.
an L cosplay?
No.
Was it when we had that skating party at our house?
No, it was not.
Okay, because he
It
would
was-
remember
Sounds
that.
like a lot
No,
of
it was when there was an Otafest 4 meetup at a bar. Do you remember that? For wing night.
What? Oh,
And-
tips. At tips.
No, it wasn't even tips.
It was at Simons Valley Ranch, and Bayfar went and picked up.
It was that night.
I don't think I.
So, but
No,
the thing
I
is,
think
Sorry.
Bayfar was the only
This was
one
a-
that could
this was more of a
drive.
forum meetup, and
Yeah.
like I know
okay.
you didn't really go to.
no, this is
No.
when we were pre-staff. But anyways, like,
Pre-staff, little baby, like
everyone
in the womb staff members.
Yes,
Doesn't make
so we
up
were
things.
all late because we were all hitching a ride with one person, and then but Sarah had gone with her parents, and her dad dropped her off. But like to make sure she was safe, Sarah's dad was like there when we showed up.
He like came in, like he was like, "Yeah, I'll come for wings. That sounds fun."
What?
No,
the
no, no,
hell?
no. But when I came in, I just see your dad like sitting at the table, looking kind of angry and annoyed that we were late, and you were just sitting here, kind of twiddling your thumbs, waiting for us to show up. And I just I just cannot forget the like amount of like awkwardness that.
My dad, like me and
I
my
didn't even
dad
know that her
both
dad was
have
there.
like a face. Like we have bitch face.
Really?
So that might be what. Yeah.
Okay.
don't
Well, I
think he
guess
was
I
that
don't.
mad.
I guess I don't see it.
It's okay, Alfred. My dad loves you.
Because he smiles at me now.
My dad gives Alfred scotch and beer for Christmas. I
Yeah.
think we're
There
okay.
you go.
This
Yeah,
man
we're
could have
good.
been a disappointment.
We're good.
But I don't really remember the night. And if I remember correctly, Simon's Valley Ranch was kind of dark inside.
But you know what? Like talking about this is like there's been many relationships born from Otafest
Oh, God.
and actual
Yeah.
babies.
Yeah.
Like what is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
In case anyone was concerned about the future of Otafest, we are literally
We're literally breeding
Starting-
staff
We're breeding.
members. Like it's
nerds
okay,
can't
guys. We've
breed.
got you covered.
It's real.
Oh man, that Punnett square took me ages.
Don't.
We're talking about breeding. I'm sorry. I had to make a biology
It's
joke.
true though. I think you were out of some of the guys. I think you must have been some of them. You were later on.
Yeah, I
You
was
were a late
later.
bloomer.
No. Sarah and I are in a relationship. We have been in a relationship for.
Wow, surprise.
Yeah, exactly. But we met at
It's about to
Otafest.
be
So
Yeah, we met at Otafest
we met
and
at
like
Otafest. That's insane.
a million years later started dating because we weren't cool back then.
Please send us your true love stories. Back in the day, speaking of nostalgia, there's been multiple proposals on the Otafest main stage during cosplay contests. I can think of at least 2.
Yeah. So
Can I speak to the longevity of those? I can't. But hey, we don't know. We don't know.
No, but
We don't
it's
get to
pretty
see
cute,
that.
honestly.
If it's still happening, then and you know your relationship. I mean.
email me
Yeah.
and I'll hook you up. I'll set you up with a real romantic proposal opportunity.
That's what we should have done. Is that we should have propositioned like stories like that from the community and put them into the guidebook or something. Yeah,
we did do that.
did we? Oh,
the yearbook.
Oh, with the yearbook. All right. Yeah.
Which
Okay.
not everyone knows about. I think.
Well,
I think that's technically under wraps.
what?
No, it's not.
I think it is.
No,
No,
been
we
announced.
we,
It's been
we
announced.
asked for
Yeah.
submissions on social media.
I
It's
think
been
it
announced.
was- okay, well,
No, either
you're not
way.
wrong in that sense. I just feel like people forgot about
It's not going to be okay. Whatever. We're a month out.
Yeah.
We're a month
Whatever.
out. Whatever. Okay.
It's
Anyways.
done anyways. It's
Check
been
it out.
printed.
Okay. Do we want to talk about individual history? Obviously, Steph has been around like.
Yeah, you started at DOA, which was dedicated to otaku anime club, and I
Yep.
was at UFC. That was like an
Like
anime
UFC
club.
anime club.
This is a time where remember where we're talking about like downloading anime off of like IRC,
And it
or,
would
like-
take you like 3 days.
yeah, and having viewing parties for that reason because you know instead of if you have the file, you might as well have.
DOA did
watch it.
screenings using VHS tapes sometimes. So
Yeah.
Where was it held? Like in
it was
Earth
in
Sciences.
Earth Science.
Oh, okay.
You know-
'Cause
you know
I-
that-
And
yeah.
sometimes ICT.
ICT was open at that point
Yeah, I was gonna say.
because
I think he looks pretty new.
Yeah, ICT
No,
opened
it was.
in
We used the
2001
the
was when it
old
opened.
deep
yeah,
theaters
I was gonna say.
in the early
Oh,
2000s. There used to be a Family Mart.
Right, yeah,
in
the
there.
Korean,
Walmart
the
was
Korean
the
place.
best.
Yeah, the Korean place.
So we
yeah,
used
yeah.
to sometimes use those theaters in there, but it was usually in
They had
Earth
soy drink.
Sciences.
And Pocky. That's what
Yeah, I
you
remember
get
that.
Pocky.
Yeah.
I remember at UFC there was the arcade.
Oh
Heck
god,
yeah,
the
the
cove,
co-
the
the
cove.
Oh, I remember that. That was so great.
Yeah.
They had Gundam, like a Gundam video game. They,
They
had
had
Guilty Gear.
Fist of the North Star.
They had DDR. That's
That
all we
DDR.
need.
Para Paradise as well.
you honestly,
Really? I
you
wasn't
have
there
no
for
idea
that.
what you missed out if you never went. Like,
No,
it was,
it's-
it was a little.
I was so
Like,
damn
You would
sad.
go to, you
Later
would go
on,
to
they had bubble tea.
Otafest.
And they had bubble tea.
like
They
we
had
didn't
bubble tea.
have to have like a video game room because UFC just straight
Had
up
an
had
awesome
its own
arcade.
arcade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it just sucks though because like I remember my first day of school at the UFC as a university student. I go to the Cove and it had closed. My
Right.
first.
that's-
You
that was
waited
my,
all that time.
that
and
was
it
my first day.
closed.
Yeah, it was so
I
bad.
started going there when I was about 15 because
Yeah.
I took some continuing education courses at the UC when I was 14.
Oh, okay.
There used
yeah.
to be like a free play Sundays for like
Oh, yeah.
for DDR, so I used to go to that.
And
Another
then
one where my
tournaments
parents
and
are
stuff.
like, "Are you safe, Sarah?"
Okay, sorry, we're gonna take a little quick break on the story part of it, but I think we're getting super into it, so I don't want to get too far away.
Yeah.
We just want to thank the Camera Store
Yep.
for being a fantastic sponsor of Otafest content for quite a while now, actually.
Yep. Several years at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for different teams and departments and stuff. And let's hear about a little bit more about them now.
The Camera Store loves Otafest, and Otafest loves the Camera Store. It's the best place to shop for all your photography and video needs. We know how much work you put into your cosplay, so make sure that you capture it with a great camera from the Camera Store. Not only do they have the best selection of gear to buy, they have an awesome rental program too. You can try cameras from Fuji, Sony, and Panasonic for up to 3 days for free from the Camera Store's rental department. Head over to thecamerastore.com for more information. Cool. Thanks, Camera Store.
I think we waited long enough that time. Shout out to the Camera Store. We love
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for.
Best camera store in Western Canada. Oh,
Why not all
They
of
let you
Canada?
bring dogs.
they let. Yeah, they're dog friendly. Yes, they
That's
are.
what I care about.
Sarah's getting to the cutting issues and the real things to talk
The
about.
real important stuff.
Sure.
Where can you bring dogs? The Camera Store.
Cold Garden.
My house.
I could have a whole episode
Speaking
about
of
that.
speaking of supporting your local businesses, Cold Garden.
Yeah, dude, it's a microbrewery that lets you bring dogs, and it's amazing.
And external food.
And
Yes.
external food. Yeah, we. Oh
Where
god.
is that? I've never heard of it.
Inglewood.
It's in Inglewood, right by
Inglewood.
my
Oh, dang.
office.
Should check it out.
Yep, it's oh god, it's awesome.
All right, let's
It's
do
like
a thing
it's
then.
like my favorite place in Calgary. So, anyways,
Aside from the Camera Store.
Okay, wait, can I
Yeah.
just make a speculation?
Yeah.
I don't know, this is not an official statement from Cold Garden, but interestingly, the word Calgary is like a Scottish origin,
Yeah.
which means cold garden. So I'm
Oh, that's
assuming
cute.
that that's where they
Is
got
it?
it from. Yeah.
Because to my knowledge,
you know what? There's a
it's Calgary from like it's
a lake.
It's a loch, yeah, in Scotland.
lock.
Yeah.
I don't believe that is the real thing. Maybe.
I mean,
I
that's
don't
the thing.
know.
That they
Well,
have
the
in
thing is
City
though,
Hall.
it's
That's what it says to City Hall?
yeah.
Well,
I mean, it might still mean Cold Lake, but I don't know if
I'm
that's
pretty sure it
the
means
thing.
like cold garden or like cold
Or-
like area of growth or something
Interesting.
like that. So it could be the same.
well, I filled up a
Cold
growler
Lake
last night,
area.
and I'm probably gonna crack it open when I get home. So I'm gonna read the story on the side of the bottle. So,
Confirm this next
Yeah.
podcast.
anyways,
That is your task from
Anyway,
the
we
president.
were telling stories about the Cove.
Yeah, Cove was just probably one of the most amazing little hangout spaces.
Yep.
It was.
For anyone who was like a kind of like a teenager, I would
Yeah.
say. And,
It had bubble tea.
yeah,
yeah,
And back in
also
the
very
day, like
fun.
that was a space where you knew, like, if you didn't make any pre-plans with anyone, but you just showed up, you
Yeah.
would know someone there. You'd have a friend. It
Yeah,
was awesome.
exactly.
Like, there's not a lot of
And the
spaces like that
staff were
anymore.
So chill.
yeah.
So chill.
Well, Cold Garden is kind of like that now, and I mean, like we're seeing the return like the arcade style bar now, right? I mean, like there's
That's true.
Pin Bar, which is like a pinball bar, and they've got their own like sort of community. And like, not saying that I understand the pinball community, but they have one.
Fair
And
enough.
There are it's either one opening soon or there already is one where it's like
Brewcade.
it's
In Inglewood,
Is
Yeah.
it Brewcade?
it's not open yet.
It's not
Okay.
open yet.
It's
yeah,
across from Without Papers.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So
But this is still, but that's still not quite the same as like
an
it's not
actual
quite- it's not
arcade.
quite-
Yeah.
No, about the arcade part, but it's like a space for young kids.
To hang.
Oh, I
To
see
hang
what you
like
mean.
that.
Yeah.
Like, you
got
didn't
it.
have to be 18 to go to the
Yeah.
Cove. Like, you could be whatever, but basically now there's nowhere
Yeah.
to do that anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
can
rec
see that.
room. You don't have to be
It's-
an adult to go to rec room.
It's
I guess
true, but
so.
but they
It's not-
focus on like the ticket kind of arcade where it's all about like
Prizes. Like,
getting
there was
and
no
stuff.
prizes
It
at
was
the
literally
Cove.
like
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was
Yeah,
just pay
it-
to play, and that's it.
I don't
Yeah.
know how to explain the Cove other than
It was glory.
It's an integral part of my
Yeah,
development.
such
me
a
too.
shame that's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I joined. So sorry.
Steph was
joined
DOA,
in DOA, and then
advanced
later-
up
Yeah.
staff
Yeah.
over the
Did
years.
you like? Would you say you consider yourself like staff from the moment Otafest was created, or
No.
was it like you were a volunteer for a bit?
I was an attendee for 2 years as well.
I mean, yeah, cool.
So yeah, I went to DOA, but everyone who ran DOA ran Otafest, so I kind of was just
But around
by default kind of there.
Yeah,
But I didn't have a
yeah.
formal title until I think 2004 or 3.
that's kind of how it goes. I mean, that was me as well. I was
Yeah.
an attendee, and then I started, hanging out with people on the forums. Some people from the forums became staff, so I subsequently ended up at meetings, right? Somehow. And then it was like...
Well, you did panels for the longest time.
And I did panels the longest time, too. So I
You didn't, like, you weren't- yeah,
knew
like-
programming staff through
Yeah,
that.
like you weren't some like random guy. You were a guy that was like doing something for the community already, and then you just like
Well,
kind
least-
of
yeah.
had, I don't know, stuff that you could
You got absorbed.
contribute.
Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
got absorbed.
And
There you go.
honestly,
What
I've kind of
happens?
been jumping around departments too when I have been on staff, right? Like I think the only thing that's been steady since it started for me was podcast actually, because
You're welcome.
yeah,
Back in the day, my first role was assistant to the cosplay director, whom at that time was Gareth.
yeah,
Shout out to Gareth Lipka for bringing a cosplay contest to Otafest.
yeah. That was
pretty
his
cool.
doing. Yeah.
And then I took over cosplay director for a bit and did a very bad job of it. And then took over panels and then special events and then so on and so on. But
And
I've
then
always been in
president, right?
programming. And then president.
Yeah.
But I've always been doing programming.
Yeah,
That's
special
been my
events for
home.
life.
yeah.
Special events. Wonk. Oh yeah, they told me don't use inside jokes, so I'll take it back.
I kind of came. I came up with Wonk.
I took it back.
Wonk is like
It's like a wink,
it's
but
the
weirder.
shittiest wink. It's the shittiest wink.
It's like instead of
literally-
like wink, it's like
yeah,
wonk.
yeah. There's no charm behind it. There's no intrigue. It's literally looking at someone, and you have to say wonk
And
too.
do
That's
it
the best part.
slow-mo.
Yeah, you kind of go slow, and then whatever preferred eye. I don't.
Or
what is
both.
it? Or both. Yeah, it's kind of
One after the
Oh,
other.
You're so bad at winking, you blink.
And you give yourself a
like,
triple chin at the same
Yeah,
time.
and
You
you're like,
realize
and you
that
stick
this-
out your tongue. Like it's just like the most ugly thing that you can do. But
This
you're
joke is no longer inside.
It's not a joke. It's the special event secret handshake.
It's
Oh
true.
God. Okay. All right.
I'm in special events and I had no idea.
It's Jay and I's secret handshake.
So it's true. Okay, wait.
Jay.
Jay.
yeah, Jay, what's your story?
Yeah. Who?
Maid cafe guy. I guess.
Maid
Maid
Cafe.
cafe guy.
Like, the guy that could have been possibly the creepiest person.
I want to make a maid cafe.
Yeah. I have to blame school for the maid cafe because I went to I think it's the only high school in Calgary that has a Japanese program, which is Bishop Carroll.
At the
And-
time, yeah.
Yeah, at the time. Shout out to Bishop Carroll. I love that school so much. I do. Like, some people will complain about their high school experiences. Definitely not.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
went there
they-
too and I had a great
The
time.
thing about Bishop Carroll is that if you didn't like it, then you only have yourself to blame because like that's
This
you
is
know.
also true.
I went to Bishop Grandin. Shout out Ghosts.
Yo, ghosts were cool too. My girlfriend at the time was a Grandin night.
A ghost.
A ghost. I got ghosted.
Oh no.
No. But like, yeah. Anyways, like we had to do a Japanese project, and I was like, I heard about this thing called Otafest, but like, my girlfriend at the time had taken me to. I attended 1 year, and I was like, not that I hated Otafest, but I've always been, and I figured out that I'm much more of a con organizer than a goer. So I went there. I was like, this is cool, but I want to add to it. I want to give something. I was like, you know what's cool? Girls in maid outfits.
Oh my.
Oh, Jay.
doing performances and
serving food.
performing and serving. Yes, this sounds great. Which
And
is
this-
why I have no idea how I ever
And
got
yet
into it.
somehow, like when Jay made this suggestion, we're like, we don't need to clear this with,
Anybody-
Alberta Health or like food. Like no, it was just we.
At one point we asked
We cut
our budget-
cake. We
And,
put it
like,
on plates.
whatever.
No,
we
you don't
did.
understand. At one
Oh,
point we
man.
asked our budget. We asked for our budget to include 1,200 eggs.
What are you? How to basic?
we were gonna make our own food.
If you
because-
go back into the back of Otafest's financials, there will be a line item for 1,200 eggs somewhere.
Possibly. We never got those. We never got the eggs.
I should call Bin
Dang
right
it.
now.
It's just the truth would be like if somehow we archive any emails, it would be in an email at least.
I need these eggs. Was
1,200
this
of them.
before we even had
That's true.
Otafest email addresses though? It would have been
This
our
is-
personal accounts.
Whoa.
Which means
Hotmails.
that it could still actually be somewhere.
Mine
if
was
you
an
can access
AOL
it.
account.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry.
Hotmail probably for me.
Darkangel666 at hotmail.com.
Yeah.
AJ.
Asian Dragon Boy.
Oh,
AZ
Sorry,
and
XX,
Dragon Boy.
X at the front and the N.
Boy is BOI. It has to be BOI.
Speaking of nostalgia, who had a Calgary Planet?
Oh
I heard
God.
about it, but I never used
Oh,
it.
yeah,
my
I never
God.
used that.
I think I was the only white person on Calgary Planet.
Nexopia. Nexopia.
I never
junior
had
high.
an Exopia.
Yeah.
All my friends had it, and I was like, "This is stupid."
I heard about that too. I didn't use it. I've always been bad at social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, did you guys know that Neopets?
I got banned from Neopets. Let's not talk about it.
I love
Okay.
Neopets.
I don't know what happened to Neopets. I want to know.
Anger.
Wait,
Oh, no.
what happened to
Quick talk. Well,
Neopets?
Neopets was owned by the Church of Scientology. Anyway,
Was
What?
it really?
knowledge dropped. Let's keep talking.
Yes, I got banned from
Citation
Church of
needed.
Scientology.
That might be a rumor, but I've been seeing it floating around Twitter and Facebook.
Citation needed.
Yeah.
We'll look it up
That'd be
later.
hilarious.
Citation?
It's okay. I never gave them money, so it's fine. Anyways,
I'm sure my pets are still starving somewhere.
they don't. Well, okay.
They do not die.
They
So
don't
they're
die.
just waiting there desperately alone for you to come give them a snack.
They end up.
Don't give them a snack.
They end up in the great deep
Anyway.
somehow.
Where the hell did we go?
Well, I don't know. What was Sarah? When did you get pulled into this?
See, I don't really know. I think I like I was an attendee for like ages,
Mm-hmm.
and then I volunteered, or no, and then maybe I volunteered like once or twice, and then I just like started doing stuff because I wanted to give
I blame
back. I was
Alfred,
like, I blame Alfred
Makes
too,
sense.
because we weren't dating at the time, but we were close friends, and like, I don't know, he started doing stuff, and I was like, well, I could do it too. But like, I attended for so long, and I was so proud of Otafest that like I wanted to give back, you know?
Yeah.
Like, thanks
feel like
for
there's a
organizing
point-
all this stuff.
Like, it
and let
doesn't-
me
it doesn't-
help you.
Yeah.
I don't think there's I think there's a point, like, it doesn't come quickly to everyone, or like maybe ever for some people, but I've always said, like, and because I still have a lot of friends in like the let's say the convention goer group as opposed to the organizer group, you are one or the other. You can't really be both. At some point, you will probably become like, it's not that a con organizer can't really go to another con or something like that. But once you have started organizing things, you'll always see it from an organizer's point of view. Whereas
That's actually
if
true,
you're-
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
It's
weird.
like the Wizard of Oz. Once you've seen behind the curtain and you've
Exactly.
seen the wizard, you're like,
Right,
oh,
yeah.
you're just
So-
a weird guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never pressed my con-going friends to volunteer for Otafest
Yeah.
until they want to. Like, some of them start doing panels and then maybe they'll become staff, or they just start doing panels and just that's all they ever do.
Yeah.
And things like that.
No,
But-
I agree with that. I mean, like having been to other cities and talk to like other cons staff for like other cons, right? It's like there's always this moment where you go out for drinks or whatever, right? And you all sit down and you start talking about all the crappy shit you've gone through, like organizing a con or like all the disasters that
That
They're
you
honestly
avoid
like,
and
we're trying to say like what stays at like what's happens at Otafest stays there for some of these stories, but honestly, like with their permission, if you see a con runner, give them a high five or a hug or something, because honestly, like this is
that's
not
a
an
lot.
easy
I put
easy
up-
thing to do.
Yeah, and it's like
Like, I mean, I've only been dumb and only increased my workload at Otafest, like,
Yeah.
because you know, like, of all the stuff that I'm involved with, but like, con runners put hundreds of hours every year.
Yes.
and it doesn't even matter what they do either, right?
Yeah, it's
like,
not even about like their actual title role. It's about like, you know, if you know that the con runs for the weekend, that's already 72 hours right there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Like, even if you're asleep, yeah, we don't really sleep during con weekends.
No, you could sleep, but it's just to recharge the next day. That's all it's for, right? So
And that's fine. Like, I mean, that I do it.
that's not fine.
It's I am going to lie to myself and say that I'm forever young about it and just not worry about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
like I said, I've only increased my
Don't
stuff. Like,
don't-
I
I
started
don't
Main Cafe and then I went into special events, do more panels and stuff. Then I took on a guidebook and I take on, like, you know, I've done podcasts and.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you love your cons and you love to go to them, like I said this before, but support with your dollar and buy a pass and come, because
Yeah.
that's what we do this for, is for you to have fun and
Yeah.
enjoy it, and we can't do it if
And-
you don't come.
And keep in mind, communities cannot exist without cons either, right? Like you can have an anime community, but like the con brings the community.
You can't
together.
replace the face-to-face experience
You
of
can't.
going to a con.
Yeah.
And though the landscape of sort of the anime fandom in general is totally different than it was when
we
I started, and 20 years ago when Otafest started, it still needs that face-to-face, you know,
socialization,
social aspect, because without that,
Yeah.
there's no heart to the community.
Yeah.
It's
And-
just
And we're kind of losing that too, just in today's day and age. Like a bit of an aside, but it's related. I promise. Like my 10-year high school anniversary is coming up. Speaking of feeling old, and I recently, you know, there's a couple of people from high school I still talk to, but like I recently ran into like some friends, right? And I asked them, "Hey, are you going to the anniversary?" Right? And they're like, "All the people from high school that I want to talk to, I already talked to you through Facebook. I don't need to show up and like talk to them." I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding
It's
me?" Just-
different
I know,
seeing
it's
them in
not the
person.
same.
it's like get out of your shell, be a human again. You
A
know,
little
it's
bit,
like
but I mean, I guess I got lucky because like the friends that I really wanted to keep in contact with came with me to Otafest.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's same with me.
that's true. But I mean, again, though, right? It's like it's just it's a you haven't seen these people in 10 years, you know, but like
Sure.
you're afraid it could be awkward.
It might be awkward, but I think
But I mean, like, there's nothing wrong. Like,
with
an awkward
reconnecting.
an awkward conversation is a human experience as well, right? So I mean, like, come on, just show up, have fun, have
And
a
like
beer, you know?
at Otafest, we've made it so that even if you're super introverted,
Yeah,
then
exactly.
sit in a room with other people, not talking to the people, but you're still
Still
out.
socializing.
Yeah.
You know,
Some of
it's
the-
still fun.
I
Yeah.
will say that, like, okay, like, because I'm definitely more of an extroverted person. Steph's definitely more of an
Extremely.
extrovert person. And but we see, like, from volunteers, I can definitely name volunteers, and some congoers that I've seen that they, like, I kind of see them in a manner of speaking. I don't want to say like it's bad to be introverted, but they progress socially.
Yeah,
so, like
that was me,
And,
yeah.
and I've seen, I've heard volunteers definitely say like, yeah, I came out a little bit more because of Otafest, or volunteering specifically, or whatever activity that they got involved in because they were given. We hope to give a safe space for all the
Yeah.
activities that we run,
Yeah.
and a space where you can enjoy and understand, kind of like, you know, maybe it's your favorite fandom for
Yeah.
whatever show or just anything, gaming, anything like that.
Yeah, like that's what we want to do, right? Is we're a
Yeah.
community builder, which is why when people ask us, you know, around the content we bring, like of course we know Kim Chi is not an anime voice actor. Like, we have talent that's not necessarily anime, but what we're doing here is building a community of people who like the same stuff.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that there's a big thoroughfare between certain fandoms, certain communities that
And
make
others,
it a
yeah.
natural alignment for us to continue
Exactly.
to bring
For
that
sure.
content, because we just want to bring it
Yeah.
to you, the people, the fans, to have fun, to have
Yeah.
fun
To
with
the
us.
fans.
Like,
And actually, you
we're
know-
going to keep growing and expanding because we just want to make the community a safe, big, awesome Oda fam
Yeah.
for everybody. You know?
Yeah, and you know what? Like when I walk around the con when it's actually going, right? The interactions I see with our attendees that make me the happiest isn't when like a room is totally full, right? Like I don't see the numbers. I see like the small interactions where it's like, like what one person's made a friend, right? Where it's like, oh, like hey, like I add this guy on Facebook now, right? Because like
Some of my favorite moments are definitely the small moments, man.
yeah, exactly,
Like,
yeah.
I've gone to like small cons where, you know what, there's like less than 200 people, and like so that means like panel rooms that they
Oh,
have
man.
maybe have like a dozen people max.
Rest in
or
peace,
3 people,
Zuricon.
or 4 people, or 5 people. That's not
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you can say that, but they still provided something.
No, exactly,
And
yeah,
those
yeah.
are the most intimate moments
And
as
that-
well. Like,
and that is-
I've literally hosted a panel once at
I hosted a panel at Tsurucon and
Yeah.
one person came and it was Jenny Chan. So that was really cool.
Yay!
but I meant, like,
And then I think
I
Sean
meant
came
strangers.
later.
I
Yeah.
meant strangers, but it's just like literally having people like if it's not me hosting a panel, that's totally fine. I
Yeah.
just mean like going into a room, seeing that there's only like 5 people in the front row, the one person hosting it, maybe 2 of those people already know the person who's
Yeah.
hosting it, but the 3 other people, they're like, hey, let's get involved.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I should do a better job of this, but like every so often I'll see people at a con and they're like, "Hey, Alfred, what's up?" And I'm just like, "Hey, what's up?" And then like I know I've seen them at a panel. They've attended one of my panels, but like
yeah.
I don't remember who they are. I need to do a better job of that. But like, yeah, it's I don't know. But
It's
yeah,
not that
like
you're nameless or unimportant. It's literally we see a lot of people. And
yeah, exactly. So
and we have to
just
meet and deal
FYI.
with a lot of people.
But yeah, like just back to what you're saying about like the introvert thing, right? Like I learned to public speak. I learned to speak in public because of
now
doing
he's a
panels for
teacher.
Otafest, right? And yeah, don't say that, please. Anyways,
Well, you know what I do for work.
yeah, I know, but still,
Yeah. So there's lots of like nostalgia and memories of us making our show, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah, anything to add?
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm good.
Okay, I guess we
Sarah
should-
has grown so much.
I have grown so much. No, yeah, I have like the kind of the same experience where like I was kind of the outsider at school and total introvert and stuff. And I go to Otafest and like all of a sudden every single person is into the same things that I am. And that
Yep.
completely brought me out of my shell.
Yep, it's
And
important.
even like volunteering at Otafest, like it's pretty much gotten me jobs. Like every job that
fully.
I've gotten.
Oh, God,
like,
yeah.
Me too.
Like
There was a period, like I've worked since I was like 14, but then I volunteered since I was like 17. There was like a 2 or 3 year gap where I didn't have a job, and then I decided to get back in. I was like, well, my job experience isn't super relevant right now, but I'm gonna lay it on Otafest and put that on my resume. And
yeah.
oh, without
Or,
Otafest,
like,
I would
oh, yeah.
not
Dude, yeah.
have the job that I have today. No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
my-
like the best advice I've gotten for like resume actually came from Steph, that like you don't separate it by like work and volunteer experience. You put that stuff together because it's
Yeah.
all just as valuable.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I did
And-
that, and like it really like makes you look really, really good.
Yeah.
For volunteers,
Yep.
we give out recommendations and
Yeah.
everything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're very happy to help support that. Anyways, that kind of brings to a close our episode. Honestly, we could go on.
We could go on for another hour. We
We
could.
need another
Yeah.
Just
episode
talking
about throwback memory
God,
episode.
can we just get we'll get all the most senior members together? We'll get
man.
Sean and Garrett.
It would just be a
Memories
bunch.
from
It
the
would
first
just be a
Otafest.
bunch of inside jokes. That's all it would
that
be.
you have to explain all of them.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
demand it.
Yeah.
So, my show, my rules. Screw off. All right. Anyways, thank you again for listening. Thank you, Camera Store and Casting Call Club, for sponsoring our episodes. And I guess at this point, we'll see everyone at Calgary Expo. Come visit us, and after that, we'll see you at Otafest. Thanks so much for listening. I'm Jay, signing off.
I'm Alfred. Bye.
I'm Sarah. Bye.
I'm Steph. Bye.